Aloha. Today, I'd like to introduce the Grandmasters of the different arts.
My name is Tony Trichet. The style and systems that I've learned are Shudokan, Shotokan, and Taekwondo. I hold high ranks in all systems. In addition to that, I've trained in Daitoryu Aiki Jiu-Jitsu. At my age, and I'm 74, I can't jump in the air anymore and twist around and kick the bag 17 times before I hit the ground, see? So I have to learn how to do other things and still be able to perform and exercise and remain in as better shape as I am, you know? But primarily, the system that I advocate the most is the Shotokan system. Okay. The Shotokan system actually is not a system, but a name of an individual. Shoto was the pen name of Gichin Funakoshi, who modernized what we know as of today modern Shotokan karate. Okay. He went to the universities, and it was the university people who began to develop the style that you know today as JKA, or Dai Nippon Karate Kyokai, which is the school of Shotokan, where Gichin Funakoshi taught. And they began to change things. But originally, Funakoshi came from Okinawa. And the system that he was teaching or learned at that time was Shorin-ryu. Well, of course, Shorin-ryu sounds a little bit Chinese, and the Japanese weren't too pleased with that. So they kind of let him know about it. So he said, oh, no problem. I'll just call myself Shoto, which is my pen name, and Kan. Kan in Japanese means training hall, dojo, okay? So, voila, Shoto-kan, okay? But basically, it is Shorin-ryu. Now, there were 5 masters under Itosu Sensei in Okinawa, which created more or less the 5 systems. Japanese system now, I'm not talking Kung Fu or anything like that, but Japanese karate, okay? Evolved from Okinawa. And Sifu Mike Young will give you all of how the Chinese influence, but I will just brush on it. The Okinawan system of te, there was Tomari, Suri, and one more area, or 3 areas. And they had what is called te, fist, okay? Now remember, the Okinawans, if you know some history about that island, they were subjugated by the Japanese. So they were, deprived of any kind of weapon. And they had Japanese soldiers there to make sure that no weapons or swords or knives or anything like that were available, But doggone, they would find Japanese soldiers with their cracked skull or busted up or somehow, and they couldn't understand. They don't have any weapons. What are these people using? So came the tongfa, came the nunchaku, came the sai, came the bow, and all the weapons, and that's how the Okinawans were able to defend themselves against the Japanese. Whenever a Japanese swordsman would, try to chop somebody's head off, all of a sudden he found himself flying through the air because of some technique, whether the nunchaku or tungfa or bow or whatever. And eventually, they kind of combined what they learned for themselves. They developed themselves. Remember, mankind has always been on the defense, okay, against animals way back when. And so the Chinese came, and so what they were able to give to the Okinawan people, they combined their technique, the Chinese style of their fighting, Shaolin system, And in fact, one of the forms that is very famous, Kushanko, was named after a Chinese general, Gun Sang-gung in Korean. And he developed that form in conjunction with the Okinawan te. In those days, he only had front kick and punch. But the Chinese taught different movements. And so they developed more forms, and there are thousands out there, you know. So the style then that these 5 people that learned on the Itoso that I had mentioned earlier, he only had a few students, 5 of them. When he died, they all spread out. Well, he kind of said, look, when you guys get ready and so forth, go out and preach the gospel, you know. In other words, teach what I've shown you. Well, new systems developed. Wa-Do-Ryu, Go-Ju-Ryu, Shudo-Kan. There were the 5 systems. Shorin-Ryu, yeah, and one other, which escapes me. Anyway, they all went, whoop, but the one that became the most famous was Gichin Funakoshi, because he wanted everyone to learn, you know, and so he taught the masses. Anyway, my style is Shotokan, and I'll end it with that.
It was very good.
I want to express how lucky we are to have these gentlemen. These are top-notch martial artists, masters who have not just martial arts to share with us, but they have their story about their life to share. And that's what they're doing, and I really appreciate that, because I think you're, just from this interview here, you're going to help a lot of kids think twice and maybe take the right road. So.
So,